This movie was actually filmed at my alma mater, Biola University. Well, part of it was. Welcome back to the Clean Slate Video Club. Today we are talking about a beloved horror film by someone, The Exorcism of Emily Rose. I feel like we've talked about reviewing or talking about this movie several times, but I didn't really want to review it. So here, if you're new, we do a segment called Real versus Real. It's kind of a pun, I guess. Is it a pun? Is that a pun? Mm-hmm. Is that how you define a pun? Tell me down below. Is that a pun? Please comment, like, and subscribe before we get started. But yeah, this is our show where we kind of break down the true story of a movie or what it's based on. Why are you laughing so hard? And this one is going to be fun. I'm going to kind of...
Oh, is this Scott Derrickson?
Yeah, he went to Biola, where I went to school. And this was actually filmed in a dorm that Alyssa, the girls' dorm, called, don't remember the name of it, but it was filmed in the girls' dorm, the dorm scenes. And I will say, when I was working HVAC, I worked in that room where they filmed several times because the AC would always break in that room specifically, in the dorm called Alpha. So if you're ever there and you want to see, it's in the basement and it's all the way down below on the right hand side. Yeah, so for all you Biola students, pretty fun. Anyways,
all of you that
everyone that watches. None of my friends watch it anymore, so that's, Anyways, let's get into the real story of this movie. So this movie was released in 2005, directed by Scott Derrickson, and yeah, let's hear that log line if you have it handy.
Yes, sir. All right. So a lawyer takes on a negligent homicide case involving a priest who performed an exorcism on a young girl.
Ooh.
Laura Linney, everybody.
Yeah, so this movie...
She dead?
I don't know. This movie is kind of unique because it almost puts you in the place, like you're in the jury, essentially. And you're given both takes, a naturalistic explanation and a supernatural explanation, whether only one or the other is true, or maybe both in some ways are true. And we'll get into that. But yeah, for those of you that have seen the film or have not seen the film, she does die following this exorcism attempts. And
spoilers.
Father Moore is charged with negligent homicide. During the trial, we get two competing, sides of the story. And I don't really want to get into reviewing the film too much. But is there any things that you want to talk about in the movie that stood out to you?
Not necessarily. I've seen this before. Maybe because we've seen so many different
horror films now.
Yeah, it's just like. Yeah, and this doesn't actually hit. I know that this was one of the movies that kind of kick-started a lot of these types
like a revival
of movies.
Almost.
Like The Last Exorcism, The Final Exorcism on, all of these exorcism things. I like the concept of this movie.
Yeah.
I didn't love this movie, though.
That's fair. I agree. I think it's a fun movie, though, in a lot of ways, too, but it's just not necessarily that scary. But let's get into the real story, which is perhaps scarier. Emily Rose is not a real person. She's actually based on someone named Anneliese Michel. She is a German woman, and she was born in 1952 in Germany, and she was raised in a very devout Catholic family. Unlike the movie where Emily Rose went off to college and a student living on her own, Anneliese actually lived with her family and came from an even more intensely religious environment than Emily Rose does. At the age of 16, she did begin to suffer seizures, and doctors did diagnose her with epilepsy. So it was kind of the first signs that something, at least medically, perhaps was wrong. And she also had other symptoms that started to develop, like depression and psychological symptoms as well. So this is kind of where the case kind of gets more controversial, because that seems like a more natural, normal thing that we all have heard of before. Everyone knows what depression is now. And these were documented medical issues.
Everyone has it, too.
Yeah, dude, get over it. Why do you need an exorcism? But then things got a little bit weirder. She started claiming to hear voices, reported seeing demonic faces, and she herself believed that she was damned and could not be saved in any way, shape, or form. And yeah, she became more fearful of religious objects, which is interesting coming from someone who grew up in a religious home. But believers in this case do point to these experiences as evidence of possession, where skeptics point out, hallucinations, paranoia, and religious delusions can be kind of explained in like neurological symptoms and psychiatric conditions. But yeah, what are your thoughts on that so far, Daniel? How do you differentiate? I'm curious what your thoughts are.
So my whole thought was like during the movie, it's very much so leaning to that this is an exorcism.
Yeah, it seems like it leans legit, right?
Or like this is like a demonic possession.
It's a denominational possession.
It's a denominational possession.
It's because there's Methodists involved.
Yes, God.
Heard, so.
Anyway, but it's kind of interesting. I think the play on that it could have been, more medicine based or all these different types of things actually leads into, like, I think obviously from our background, it's easy to be like, oh yeah, obviously.
Well, we grew up super Pentecostal,
but like
too, which means I think we valued the supernatural experience probably more than other Christian denominations would.
Right. So I think that almost the leading up to it is kind of interesting, but it also in the back of my mind, I'm I don't know, maybe because I've seen this movie a couple times, where I'm like, no, it's still is possession.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I kind of go back and forth myself too, because there are a lot of cases of exorcisms gone wrong where someone dies and it clearly wasn't something supernatural, and then also like theologically, I have disagreements with the Catholic Church. Surprise, surprise. But anyways. After, these first few instances were happening, the Catholic Church did approve an exorcism. 2 priests were actually present. So this movie only has 1 priest, whereas in the actual story, again, it's in Germany. It's a completely different girl. There was 2 priests, and there was 67 exorcisms done. So it wasn't just like a handful.
Is that why someone wrote 6-7 in Letterboxd?
6-7. Is that what somebody wrote?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Said 6-7.
She did say 6-7 in the court case, and it did trigger me actually because of that. But yeah, so they did these exorcisms. It was over like the span of something like 10 months, so it was a long time that they were trying to deal with this and see what would happen, and it kind of became, this exhausting process. It took almost a year, and there was more claims of the supernatural and demonic, where Anneliese allegedly spoke in different voices. Witnesses reported her having unusual strength, which if she was frail and dying, that's a little strange. She claimed multiple demons were present, not just one. And audio recordings did capture some of these sessions, and we will play one of those for you now.
Viewer discretion
is advised. It's SVU, Anyways, yeah, that's fun. She just starts speaking English because she's German. I will say in the movie, it always makes me laugh when we watch these and they have like the demon's name is revealed, and it's always just like the biggest, baddest demon. It's never just like some chill one, like side demon. It's always like Lucifer for some reason, or
exactly.
I am Beelzebub, blah 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 blah. I'm like, okay, is it always you? Is there not anyone else? Like, go on vacation, dude. Yeah, but these recordings have made this case very famous. You may have heard them before, even. And yeah, it's pretty frightening. And also, Scott Derrickson did also reference other cases of exorcisms. He said this actually unnerved him more than any of his other filmmaking endeavors, was looking into real cases of possession and seeing those pictures. It's pretty vile stuff. And yeah, we'll show that some of it now if we don't get demonetized. Anyways, Anneliese did die in 1976 at the age of 23. And at the time, she only weighed about 68 pounds. So she was super malnourished. Dehydration set in, and that ultimately is what killed her. And then there was a trial, just like in the film, which is what the movie mostly focused on. The priests were charged with negligent homicide. Her parents were also charged in real life, not in the film. And everybody was convicted, and they received suspended sentences and probation, which is similar enough to the ending of our movie.
Mm-hmm.
And the real trial wasn't really about proving if demons exist. It was more about determining whether the adults involved should have maybe sought more aggressive medical treatment before it was too late. And I believe Scott kind of tried to avoid that allegation by throwing in the other doctor who was present for this stuff. And then he conveniently dies. None of that happened in the real story, so it'd be nice if we had that, just to kind of make it feel a little bit a better bow on the story. But yeah, and they changed it, obviously to an American setting, which made things a little different. What are your thoughts, Daniel?
I've been reading Letterboxd comments.
Okay, that's
I would like to read some now.
Yeah, let's hear those.
So this one says, this Emily Rose got a full ride to a university and she drops out because of what? A little demonic possession. F off.
Stupid.
And someone responded and said, wouldn't have suffered if she stayed up till 3 and did her essays instead of sleeping LMAO.
That's why she was waking up at 3. She had to do her work.
Exactly.
It was just anxiety.
Anyway.
I don't know. I guess
no further
you,
comment.
the audience, do you think this case was primarily medical or maybe spiritual, maybe a combination of both? I lean both. I mean, I could look into it more, but I think both are always at hand. Especially the way the movie presents it. I think it could be both.
Right.
The real case, I think, could be a bit more tragic, to be honest.
I think in the movie they ham it up a lot. He's like, I did tell her to stop taking her meds, which it's like,
like, why?
Okay. I don't know, but like, I don't know. I've never been in a courtroom before, so I don't know if like you can charge somebody for telling somebody to do something and then they do it.
That's fair.
But they also have free will.
And she was an adult, too.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not like... So anyway, I think a court case of this is pretty unique.
Yeah.
Just because it's like...
Kind of reminds me
there
of
are clearly
Miracle
people
on
who...
34th Street, where he has to prove that he's Santa Claus.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I think in general it's really weird to be like,
yeah,
let's charge this priest. But in the movie, I think Scott wraps it up pretty nicely of being like,
it might be his most Christian.
Cover all of his bases, like you said.
It might be more Christian than like the Black Phone movies.
I think Black Phone is his most Christian.
But this one, he's like, God let this exorcism happen so everybody can become a Christian. That's like the end of the movie, basically. Which is interesting. But I don't believe that's something God would do. But
is Scott Derrickson Catholic?
No.
Is he a Baptist?
I don't know. He went to Biola, so he could be anything.
Is he saved still?
He's unsaved. Ooh, that'd be a good horror film name. But it's actually about saving
Unsaved.
files. The Epstein files.
It's... That's crazy.
If you download it, he haunts your computer with... I'm not even going to say what I was going to say. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think about this movie. What do you think about the true story? I know there's a lot of true exorcism stories that we could talk about, and I want to do a deep dive on this. I will say I do disagree theologically with the way Catholics handle it. No offense. You can tell me why I'm wrong in the comments below if you watched this whole video. I'm sure you didn't. But if you did, I'd love to hear it. I think my version of this movie would be much more boring than how it plays out, a little less theatrical perhaps, but yeah, that's my
To be honest, I thought this movie was a little boring. I think I would have loved to see a little bit more.
She should have crawled on the ceiling.
She should have. Also, I think, how like in documentaries they like show the stuff
kind of like
while they talk about it.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think
like,
he should have done
Ghost
that.
Adventures vibes almost.
Exactly.
Okay, that's fair.
Oh man.
Anyways, guys, please comment.
All right, guys. Like.
Subscribe.
Subscribe. Yeah, guys, let us know what you think. Do you what would you say accuracy level is on this? In terms of
I feel
the
like
real
it's
versus
actually,
the real.
Despite like changing the name and the setting and stuff like that, it seems pretty close because the movie doesn't flat out tell you whether it's supernatural or not. Like, we kind of get both explanations. Like, we see her give herself the wounds on the fencing, and stuff like that. So I'm gonna say it's maybe 60% accurate, in my opinion.
Okay. Wow, I think that's probably one of the higher ones that we've ever had.
Snowtown was like 99%. Let's pick something fun for our next wheel versus something happy.
Anyway, all right, guys. Well, that is going to do it for this month's Real versus Real. Let us know what you think. Let us know what true story you want us to put to the test of the reality. I don't know why I did that good. So much. Anyway, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much, and we will see you next week for another movie. Be kind, rewind. Peace.